Welcome to part one of the breakfast episode. Today we actually are going to make something in the kitchen, so just talking about tools and items that you would want in your pantry. And I figured what better place to start than the first meal of the day, breakfast. So part one, I'm going to talk about coffee. Now, you have to understand coffee is a pretty obsessive topic for me. And I understand that not everyone is crazy like me, so I forgive you if you think that my coffee brewing method is ridiculous, but I have tried and experimented and perfected my brewing technique over the past year or so. So know that everything that you see is a result of meticulous testing. So to start off, I'm going to brew using the French press. It's kind of my preferred way to brew coffee. With coffee, the key to having a good cup, above all else, is fresh roasted beans. Now, I get these from my local roaster here in Milwaukee. One of them, Altera. So I know that these were roasted within the last 2 days, and well, that's step one. I keep them in one of these airtight OXO containers, the pop top. Keeps them nice and fresh. And to grind them, I'm going to use a hand grinder. This one's made by Hario. It's a hand burr grinder. Burr grinders are best in grinding coffee to ensure a consistent grind. You may have seen those, or even have an electric coffee grinder with the little blade in the bottom, kind of like a food processor. Problem with that is the grinds closest to the bottom will get really fine, and the ones that are kind of floating on top won't get hardly ground at all. So hand grinder is nice. It does take a bit of effort, but it's worth it. You just grind it. And meanwhile, I've got water on the hob coming up to temperature. Okay, when I'm warming up the water, I don't let it come to a full boil. I wait until the steam is coming out in a nice, steady stream, like it is right now, and I take it off the heat. Now, this next step may seem a bit obsessive, but of course you already were expecting that, right? Because I said I'm a bit obsessive about the coffee brewing process, but I'm going to take the temperature of the water I just heated up with my probe thermometer. This is one I talked about in the Essential Gear episode. I'm looking for a temperature of about somewhere between 195 and 200 degrees. It's going to be your perfect temperature. Some would argue that lower, about 185, would be better because of the lower temperature extracts less bitter components of the bean. But to me, if I'm brewing coffee, I'm usually brewing 2 cups, and if I do it that low, the first cup is going to be a perfect temperature. When I come back to pour my second cup, it's too cold. And we have a reading of about exactly 196, which is absolutely perfect. So now, I'm just going to set a timer here. I'm going to do 4 minutes for an extraction in a French press. Not quite done with the coffee yet. I found that one of these full containers is good for half of this 32-ounce French press. So I'm just making half right now. That's about 1 cup. I'm going to add that to the French press. And I've got my timer set for 4 minutes. Water's probably cooled down a bit to 195, but that's still within perfect range. I'm going to start the timer and then slowly add my water. And at first I just want to add enough water to just cover the grounds. I'm going to let that sit here for a minute. Alright, it's been about 1 minute. If you look at the grounds at this point, they've kind of frothed up and expanded and filled with water, that's called blooming. Once they've reached that point, you want to give them a stir, and since I'm lazy and don't like to wash extra things, I just kind of give it a swirl gently like that, and careful not to get grounds too far up the side. But I just give it a little swirl to stir it, and then at that point I add the rest of my water, and again I said I'm doing about half of this carafe, the amount of grounds I have. At that point I'm going to put the top on my French press to trap in any extra heat that might escape at this point. And now we just wait the extra 2 minutes. When the timer reaches the roughly 30-second mark, that's about when I like to plunge. You want to do this nice and slowly. So it's going to take about 20 full seconds for me to plunge this. You're creating an emulsion. You're mixing the oils from the coffee with the water that the beans are steeping in. So that's why you want to do it slowly, similar to adding olive oil to vinegar to create a vinaigrette. It's plunged, alarm's going off. I'll just kill that. And now the coffee is ready to go, and you can see it has a nice little kind of froth or crema on top. It's lovely. And you can enjoy it however you like. I personally like mine with a bit of half and half. Alright, I have links below to all the gear I use in this episode, the Bodum French press and the Hario hand burr grinder. So you can check those out if you are interested in getting those for yourself. Trust me, it is the best coffee you'll ever have. In the next episode, part 2 of the breakfast episode, Home Kitchen Basics, I'll be making scrambled eggs with a little wilted spinach. So check back for that.